Sci-Fi Radio.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We would be honored if you would join us.
All right.
It's close enough.
What's that?
It's close enough anyway.
Whatever works. Hey, it's another Thursday night. You are here for Docking Bay 94. I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
And this is Donoho.
And we are Colleen-less tonight. Colleen had a really busy day, and she is in charge of the costume repair station tomorrow at Gallifrey 1. Yep. So she's sitting this one out.
Oh, there we go.
And
sorry, pardon me. I'm readjusting my backside here to fit. There.
Jeff has ants in his pants.
There we go. Yeah, it's the I'm sitting on something in the back. The back is like all bumpy or smushy in a certain way, so I'm like, it's not working.
Well, that happens.
There we go.
Big deal. Kit's there. Hi, Kit. And Frequent Falcon Flyer has chimed in. And we're just kicking it.
Let's see. I haven't seen anyone on Facebook yet.
Alan just popped in on Facebook. And Budala's over there. Dawn is there. I forgot to change the name to Jeff.
Oh,
which is funny.
I mean, I try,
Right. Well, the question is, like, I have the button selected for Jeff. There it is. Okay, there. Now you're Jeff.
Well, Hey! Wow! Cool.
Woo! Yeah, it's an imperfect science, our show.
Yeah.
Seat of your pants, baby. Seat of your pants. That's okay.
I know.
We make it all work.
Dadgummit.
It is what it is. And the fact that like anybody tunes in, it must be going okay, right? Right.
I think so.
Yeah, we're not swapping Jeff's pronouns out. He's fine. It's the Dude Bro show tonight. We have no female oversight on the show, except for Kit. Kit's there. She'll keep us straight.
Yeah, so to speak.
Right. Matt Tillard popped in. Hey, Matt. Vicky's here.
Hey, howdy, Matt.
Woohoo. Yeah. So Dawn is here. I spent the day yesterday at Disneyland with Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And we got very wet in the rain. And it was Larissa, I think, was with us. And we were wet anyway. So we're like, let's go on Tiana's. And Don and Larissa were like, oh, yeah, no problem. We didn't get wet when we went on it. I'm like, okay, so you've already been on it today. And they're like, yeah, it was fine. Like, okay, great. So we jump in, and like there's no line, of course, because it's rain. And so we walk right on the ride, and we go through the ride. And the ride is known for its big, gigantic drop at the end of it, right? That's part of the whole Splash Mountain-y thing.
Yeah, that's the whole thingy.
Well, the difficulty with that is that's not what got us wet. What got us wet?
It's the little loopy in the middle, right?
Yeah, just a dip in the middle, which really kind of sucked. So here, let me see if I can get you a picture here.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is us.
Because originally
we're very wet.
Yeah.
And
I know originally that part of the ride originally was literally completely dry. You go through the loop thing, the little bumpy thing, like 2 bunny hops or whatever, then you go sploosh into the water at the end a little bit.
Yes.
Don't really get that wet at all originally.
Right, I remember that. It was fine.
But I think they changed it a little.
The problem we had was that the water scooped up over the boat and into the front. Now, I was sitting in the front because I thought, okay, I have an oilskin raincoat. I'm wearing a hat. My shoes are waterproof. This will be great. I'll take the brunt of it. No big deal. Completely fine to do it. Expecting that big long drop. But yeah, when we hit this little dippity-doo deal, we slide down and the water comes up over the front. I watched it happen. It's like a big wave that just came over the front and poured into the log. It went
Oh my
up
goodness.
my sleeves, down my back, into my pants, into my socks, and thus into my waterproof shoes. It was crazy. Don got soaked. Larissa got soaked. It was really very, very
Wow.
funny. And we survived it. And
man.
and the ride itself, we took a few pictures. This is just me. You can see dry spots at the bottom of my coat, and the rest is completely soaked. And it was chilly. It was
Just drenched,
And you
yeah.
worked last night, Jeff, so you know how cold it was. At Disneyland.
Yes, I do.
They gave you a raincoat?
Yeah, I just went to costuming, and they had an option of 3 things. You can get a poncho, you can get a jacket, whatever, and pants, or you can get a duster.
Kind of like what I'm wearing?
I opted, I opted for the duster. It's niftier.
Well, I mean, it
Um,
sounds cooler.
And originally, and I think I don't know if they're still using them, but believe it or not, the ghosts that are in the graveyard scene, like the ones on the bike and stuff,
Yeah.
that's how they made the ghosts look translucent. They literally put like rain gear on them,
They did, yeah.
the clear rain gear. Yeah,
That's awesome. Anyway,
yeah.
we had fun in the ride.
I was fairly dry.
Oh, that's good. Because I was worried about you, and I felt bad too, because I thought maybe you would come hang out with us at the park, and we would talk about the Muppet car, and then you're like, I picked up a shift.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I didn't even stay long enough to say
wouldn't-
hi.
Yeah, I'd have to get a reservation too. So
Well, that's true.
usually I can just come right in, but sometimes I still have to
Well, or we
Try.
could have met at Downtown Disney. That would have been fine.
Yeah. In any case, yeah.
But,
But I was there till 10:45.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, I like what they did with the ride.
Probably not quite that late, but yeah.
I hadn't been on the ride yet.
Oh, pretty cool
so
inside, yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
neat. You will appreciate that there's lots of Mama Odie in it,
Oh, good.
and
Yay.
yeah, I managed to take a pretty fair
Yeah.
number of pictures. It came out reasonably well. I'm trying to break in my new phone, which has a better camera than my last one.
Yeah.
But I've got a lot of fuzzy ones
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And of course, we're going through the ride
Hi, Cindy.
backwards. But
Yeah.
yeah, we had a really
man,
good
yeah,
time.
it's pretty cool.
But yeah, the
I haven't
rain
gone on the ride yet, so it looks pretty cool.
really got to me, and the animatronics on the ride are great, and whatnot. And we did
Yeah, I don't know.
we did Star Tours. I had to take one picture for Colleen because I thought Colleen would appreciate this picture, which is like the kitchen area, the
Oh, there you
beautiful
go.
old
Yeah,
stove and
yeah.
the little island and stuff like that. And that was
Yeah.
pretty neat. I don't think Colleen's ever gonna go on the ride. I think she's just like,
Aw.
yeah, I'm
Because of the big drop, yeah.
gonna skip on that, which is funny. But
Like on Pirates, you go down like the big drop, their big drop and their little drop,
Mhm.
and you'll get a little wet. The most wet I ever got was at the end of the ride, one of that ride, which is similar to happened to you. It was like it gets you up to that spot where up the waterfall thing, and you go bloop, and it drops you like a foot,
yeah,
because it's plopping you into that little canal of water to go around past the guests. And that's where I think the most wet I ever got on Pirates was, because it just went glook, and then the waters came up like literally up over the side and whoosh on my. It's the same thing that happened to you in a sense.
yeah, it was nuts.
Not as drastic.
It was, but it was all in fun. I think we still had fun whining about how wet we were, which was cool.
Hi, Talon Thorn. Yeah.
Let's see who. Yeah, Don said he had fun, and Don went back
Oh,
today,
good.
I think, and so
Oh gosh, really?
yeah,
Wow.
so I think that it was even wetter today, but I think they went over to DCA
Yeah, it is.
and wandered around. But yeah,
It is wetter
today
today.
especially, it was
The water's been
considerably.
heavier.
Yeah,
Raining a lot heavier today than yesterday.
I listened to it pound on our roof all day. It kept me awake all night. But yeah, Colleen and I are just completely wiped out, and I didn't even have to do much work. She's been working all day, so that's why she's sitting that out.
Oh.
But we'll be at Gallifrey tomorrow,
Yeah.
and she's getting ready for
Oh, cool.
the costume repair, where we will all be helping out.
Gotcha.
Be cool.
Okay. I was off at 10 like 10:45, but it was like at some point throughout a little before it was like not a little before 10:25 because I can leave 25 minutes early or clock out. So like, yeah, let's go ahead and clock out, over at like, Harbor or whatever, Harbor House. Okay. And I was exhausted, so I walked out, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And it just kept going. Went up to my, got the bus, got out of the car, and then I was practically home when I'm like, "Oh shoot! I didn't clock out."
Oh no! What do you have
Yeah,
to
so
do
I
in
called
that
them
case?
this morning. It's fine. No, they fixed it.
Okay.
I called them this morning,
All right.
but they're like, "That's cool. Just don't do it again." I'm like, "It's not my plan."
You never plan to not clock
I
out.
was toasted.
It's not like you're trying to mess
Yeah.
with the
I
system.
was like,
Oh my gosh.
man.
Let's see what else.
The trouble with rain gear, when you're working, when you have like the raincoat and it's over your coat and your pants or whatever it is that it's just like my leather jacket for Han Solo. It literally, the heat
Oh.
just stays there.
Really?
It can be cold as heck outside, but you're just dying because you're sweating up a storm.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like terrible. It was like, I don't want to wear the rain gear, but my costume will get soaked apparently, so I have to wear the rain gear.
Well,
Like, this blows.
my rain gear was warm enough, except I brought gloves, which got wet in my waterproof pocket somehow. Go figure.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yeah.
then I got water in only one shoe, which I have a symmetry issue where it's like if I like things to be very
geez.
symmetrical. And so like squishing around in one shoe just drove me nuts.
Oh man, what the? Wait, Don, I didn't think Don posted something. I didn't think that Big Thunder would be open today. During the rain, it usually isn't.
Oh, really?
That's weird.
Yeah, it sounded
Wow.
painful. He said it got pelted in the face. And that's not cool.
Yeah. Because the only ride that I knew that would stay open in the rain, and it's an outdoor ride, is mine, Autopia. I didn't think that Thunder stayed open.
Chris Marble waved at us from Gallifrey 1. He's still listening, even though he's at the
Yay!
convention. He must be at LobbyCon, which happens in the convention. So somebody got stuck in the elevator today
Oh joy!
at Gallifrey 1. I don't know for how long. And one of the escalators is down for maintenance. So getting off the
Oh,
show
joy.
floor is going to be quite the challenge. If you can't manage stairs, it's going to be a real
Yeah.
mess. But
It's still in the same place at Marriott, right?
yeah, it's where LostCon used to be, and it's where this place has been forever. They like it because it limits the amount of
Okay.
people who can go, and
Yeah.
so it's limited to about 4,000 people, and
Okay.
the people that they have this year, so they've got Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Catherine Tate,
Yeah.
Jenna Coleman, and then people who worked on the show like Stephen Moffat, Julie Gardner, like behind the scenes writers and producers and stuff. Katie Manning
Yeah.
and Nicola Bryant. There's all sorts of people going this year. It should be super,
Okay.
super fun.
Cool.
Kelly says Moira got a lunch violation. What's a lunch violation? You took too
Sorry?
long at lunch, you get busted. It's like, wow. That's...
Sure. Or you didn't take one, or you didn't take a lunch.
Oh, that could be too.
So
Do you?
there's a thing that occurs you have to sign off on. some things. So we're like, you can work 6 hours and you can sign off. You can sign up before during training to say that you just want to take 2 breaks instead of a lunch when you have a 6-hour shift.
Sure.
So you get paid for 6 hours. Otherwise, you get paid for 5.5 hours. So I mean, I did that. It's a waiver you sign. So, but I think it could be I don't know if she explained it, but it could be either too long of a lunch or it could have been forgot to take one. And there's also, you have to take, if you have a lunch, you have to take that lunch within a certain amount of time in regards to your shift to sign off on. So it's 8 hours. If it's like an 8-hour shift or something, you've got to get your shift within 4 hours or something like that.
Wow.
3.5 hours. Or they will get, Disney will get bump. It will get they'll get mad about. So.
Well, I mean, there's laws that need to be observed.
The state will come after them. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
So I don't know what it was. Maybe she'll explain more, but I don't know. That's my assumption. But
yeah, I mean, it could be any of a number of things. We talked about the elevator breaking down, and my friends were in it. Although saying that my friends were at Gallifrey is a very vague thing because I know a lot of people who go.
Yeah.
But Chris said he saw the firemen come in with their pry bars to get the elevator open.
Yeah.
So already starting off with some excitement. Oh my gosh.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Did they have Johnny Fever at the top floor? Trying to.
Right. I don't.
Johnny Fever's would come down there on a rope.
Well, better Johnny Fever than John McClane. Who threw a chair on this elevator? I'm looking to see. No. I'm looking to see if there was anything posted on the main site. I don't know where they did. I don't know where they posted the thing.
That explains something. Yeah, that sounds about right, Kelly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Well,
so, if I work more than 6 hours, then I have to have a lunch. So I mean that kind of thing could be happening too. But yeah, she says didn't leave on time after not taking lunch. So yeah, they'll ding you because they're getting dinged by the state, so they'll ding you.
Yeah, that's not cool. All right, let's see. I'm looking up the person I thought was stuck in the elevator to see. Oh, yep, here it is. It took. She doesn't say. But yeah, my friend Katie, whom if you will remember, she moved out of town, and we ran into her when Disney was displaying the TARDIS in downtown Disney. She just happened to be there at the time we were there, which was really cool. It was very nice to see her.
Huh.
And she's a huge Doctor Who fan. And
cool.
It says, nothing like getting stuck in an elevator waiting for the fire department to open the doors to let us free here at Gallifrey 1. Hope to see you all soon. And then updated it to say, Dobby is free. But it doesn't say. Oh, here we go. So 1:20 is when she posted she was stuck in there. And 2:54 is when she posted she got out. So it was like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, an hour and a half.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's less fun.
No, not fun at all. No, not at all.
But it looked like they had some provisions or something with them, maybe. So there's like a wagon full of stuff. Hopefully they had snacks.
Okay.
Starbucks. See, I mean, I can wait in a I can wait in an elevator for a really long time as long as I've got snacks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you needed to use the bathroom, you're screwed.
That is a problem. So there's a reel that's going around, or TikTok or whatever, that shows the world's quietest room. It has no place for sound to bounce off of. It is all sound absorbent material, and they say that people can only stay in there for like an hour before they go crazy, because the only thing you can hear is your
right?
like the blood in your head and your heart pumping, and like what it's like that quiet. And all I'm thinking is that I mean, if longevity is your goal, just go to sleep. Just take a nap.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
if that was all I could hear was my heart pumping, that would lull me right to sleep. And I'm like, I kind of want to try this. Try this room. I bet, you know, if they're like, oh, people can't handle an hour, I'm like, I'll bet someone I can stay in there for 2. I feel like I can do it without going mad.
Can I bring a baseball and a glove?
Right. But the problem is you can't bounce it off the wall.
Oh,
it's you know, if you're gonna pull a Steve McQueen, I'm not sure that's gonna work, because it's all foam bathing on the wall. So, but
it's all squishy. Yeah.
Chris said that there's no connectivity in an elevator, but the picture here shows them on their phones. So, so they must have called somebody to go, we're stuck in the elevator. The biggest problem is, and the only reason I'm not showing the picture is because I don't have permission, and they're stuck in an elevator, and I don't want to put that whole thing like way out on public. Because honestly, they look unhappy. You can sit against the wall in the elevator, and then there's a handrail right where your head goes. So you can't lean your head back because the handrail is there.
Exactly.
Which is pretty funny.
Oh, so. You know, Kit, we've tried to put you on camera, Kit, and you don't want to be on camera. So don't be saying I have a lack of Boba-Kit on this 2-shot by Cracky.
I will tell you what, Kit, if you tell me in advance, and tonight is a special exception because Colleen bailed out at such a late notice. But if Colleen's not going to do the show, or Jeff's not going to do the show, and you want to come in on the show, I can make that happen. You have to have a good camera set up. And
see, she said the little logo.
Oh, the little logo. All right. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's a little Kit logo on here. I'm sure I can work something up.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
If I can find an image of
Chris with a big on Kit, but Chris doesn't want to be on screen, Chris.
Right.
She just wants something to represent her on the screen. Right.
Well, yeah. This I think I knocked this one together really fast out of some pictures I had put together that were I took at Galaxy's Edge. So these are all textures from around Galaxy's Edge that I threw together as a thing. I keep thinking to myself, hey, you know what I should do is I should update our screens and stuff. But I never think of anything better than what I've already done. So I just leave it. Yeah. I leave it alone. What I was doing for a while is I was changing our main picture, which is, I'll show our intro page. This is our intro page. And so these figures are the toy box action figures Disney used to sell. And then I fudged one together for Colleen because they didn't make one of Kaylee. So I did art to match. And then Kit is represented up there with Boba Fett on the mandible of the Millennium Falcon. She's there. And and I keep meaning to change it. I think I had one at one point where we were Funkos, and then
we were Legos too.
We were Legos to start, and then we also had we had a Star Trek thing that was like kind of a what happened? Yeah. So I was going to show the Star Trek one, but since I've updated my computer in that time, because that was an April Fool's thing, was Star Trek, and
Gotcha. Yeah.
I have updated my computer in that time, so all the art assets are not there. That's why you got a black screen for 3 seconds.
Oh well, that's
All right.
okay. Yeah. Oh golly.
Hey, I'm gonna
see.
show something really dorky. Colleen and I went
We
to
did.
IKEA, and we bought a bunch of bookcases to put in our living room in the hopes that the big pile of crap, which is largely mine, would get organized. And everything was just like a little too small. Like I thought, oh, we'll put my proton pack in there and it'll be awesome. And the proton pack misses by like 1.5 inches. And we were going to put the big case that I have the RTV in, and that misses by like 0.5 inch. And it's like so frustrating. It's like whatever IKEA measurements are do not fit our life. It's off.
Yeah.
But they're up there. We're trying to figure out how to organize stuff, and we'll come up with something as I clean all that stuff up and do it. And it's like some things, like I have a 20-inch carry-on that contains my Luke Skywalker costumes, and that does fit. There are a few things that do.
Okay.
So,
good.
One of the things that we did get, which is just like a little inexpensive doofy thing, was this little cup holder thing. We were going to get it in natural wood, but they only had black, so we went with the black. The idea being
3D
that
printed.
it looks 3D printed. It's actually wood, if you can believe it. It's wood and metal.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's what it looks that way.
yeah, it's got this little, notch in it for handles, and you can put your little cup in it, and it's kind of nice, and it just screws onto the table.
Cool.
And so, yeah,
Nice.
it's a dumb purchase, but a handy one, and I'm very impressed with it, with its
Yeah.
and it's very IKEA. It's just like it solves a very basic problem. It's very, very simple. So yeah, we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. But the whole trip to IKEA, we went to North America's largest IKEA, which is situated in Burbank, California. Beautiful downtown Burbank.
Burbank.
So that was fun. We had more meatballs for lunch. So I think we've had our fill of meatballs for a while. Because we did that 2 weeks in a row, 2 Saturdays in a row. But it was a better presentation and more food and stuff. And then, the way this one's laid out, there are fewer shortcuts you can take to get through quickly, which is kind of a bummer. So you really have to trudge through. So if you're counting your steps, that's amazing, right? But if you're not, then whatever. And I almost bought, I'm thinking of buying just because... So this year is the 25th, not the 25th, I'm sorry, the 50th anniversary of Jaws. It came out in 1975. And so Jeff and I are doing Jaws costumes. And he's doing Brody, I'm doing Hooper. Although I was talking to Don, I think Don's considering Quint, which would be pretty funny. So anyway, we're putting these costumes together. And at Target, or not at Target, at IKEA, they have these big stuffed great white sharks, which are really cool.
Yes.
And so we bought a small one to send to our nephew in Virginia. And
nice.
But there's a bigger one, and it was really hard not to buy one. Because I'm like, ooh,
I know.
that would be really fun, right?
If it was a puppet, I'd get it, but.
Oh, anything's a puppet if you want to cut it open.
I know. Yeah, I think. Well, I think at one point they did have one that was puppet, but I don't think they do anymore. Yeah, there's also like a big size Funko Pop that's Jaws that I saw somewhere. I'm like, oh, this would be great to carry around too.
I
But
saw that. There was one that I'm considering
goofy.
buying because I found one cheap. And actually, what makes me sad, I have is it over here? I don't know what I did with it.
don't know.
There's an action figure for Hooper that came out where
Oh.
he's all dressed in clothes. They sewed clothes for him, and he looks
Okay.
really great. And the problem is that they were supposed to. Here's Hooper's head. So, the two of us were very similar. So they came out with one
Oh well, no.
for.
His head's smaller.
Oh, it is smaller, but not if I do force perspective. So they came out with one for Brody, and they didn't release it. I don't know. The family said no.
Boo.
Whatever happened? Because there's one for Quint, there's one for Hooper. They canceled the Brody one,
Yeah.
which really bums me out.
Oh, man.
And anybody who bought,
Oh, well.
started buying the whole set, and they're like, now I can't get the whole set. I got to stop at 2. Where's the third guy?
Yeah.
It's like having Kirk and Spock
Yeah.
and no McCoy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Roy passed away then, huh? I haven't
yeah,
really
he
been paying
did.
attention to that.
Yeah. Richard Dreyfuss is the last man standing. He's
Damn.
the last
Jeez.
guy of the three.
Okay.
I mean, Bruce is still around. If you count the shark, he's still around.
Yeah, it was.
But he's in a museum, so everyone.
Yeah.
Boy, it got really
Gotcha.
quiet over on the chat.
Yeah. I know. There's like crickets over there on
I know.
on there.
We
Jeez, what's going
scared
on?
everybody away.
Everywhere though. Like, what?
I showed them my cup holder
Yeah.
and they ran.
I know. Jeez. So I have gotten most of the clothing portions of the costumes now. I just have to find that. I'm just gonna get it from thrift store. I'm still looking. The shirt, the gray shirt. Still looking for the gray shirt. The gray out.
The outer
button-up
one with
shirt.
the 2 pockets.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
one that I would give you, but it's the
I'll
wrong
find it.
material.
Yeah.
I
I'll
have
find
one
it
that's
eventually.
flannel.
Not that concerned about it.
So Talon Thorne says
Yeah.
that Bruce was dead decades ago. Yes, but no. There's a junkyard out here
Oh, see,
in
that's-
California that had a copy from the original molds of Bruce the Shark on their sign. And when somebody realized it was actually Bruce, when they compared it to the movie Shark and went, holy crap, they got it from the
Yeah.
junkyard. They took it in. They restored it. They painted it up beautifully. And he's at the Academy Museum hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
And it's,
Pretty darn cool.
it's super cool. We need to go, Jeff and I, and go take a look at him because he is so approachable by balcony. I'm trying to find
Oh, nice.
the best picture of him. Let's see. This one's pretty good, except no, the whole stupid Academy thing has now taken over my page. Let me try this. Here we go. This is better. So I'll show you a picture of what Bruce looks like now. He's ready for his close-up. He looks awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen him in person, and it's like super impressive. So that's Bruce
So awesome.
hanging from the rafters, and it's the legit Bruce. It's like this is the one
Man.
they used in the movie.
Got the dead doll eyes too.
Same molds. Yeah, and they did a really good job. They really good job with him. So when Jeff and I get our costumes done, we have to go and get a picture.
Yeah.
Which will be great. And then also, I was talking to Dawn, and Dawn has a group that does themed days at theme parks. And they were thinking of
Yeah.
doing a Universal Studios like catch-all day where you pick your favorite Universal property and go. So if you want to be Marty McFly, you can be Marty McFly. If you want to be Frankenstein, you can be Frankenstein. We totally have to go as Brody and Hooper to that. It would be amazing.
Yeah. We should get rope David in so he could be like the mayor.
Oh my God. I wonder if he would do it. That would be so funny. Every once in a while, people get upset at things like that. Like I have a friend, he used to be our roommate, and he looks, and I'll show you a picture sometime. He looks exactly like William Atherton from Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
But who wants to be Dickless, right? Nobody wants to be that guy, right?
I know.
And so I could never get him to do it. I wanted him to do it so badly. I think he just needed to embrace it, have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, just not so much. We'd have to find him in an ugly suit that color, the same color. Oh, for David,
and just paint the anchors on. Yeah,
I don't know.
The anchors on, because good luck finding that. Or the suit just has the suit has anchors on it, or one of his suits.
Well, we could do it
if he wears it the whole movie.
Yeah, we could do it as, even if he just got a blue suit and then had the tie with the anchors all over it, I would accept that. That would be okay. But yeah, that jacket was just the worst. The mayor was such a tool. We just saw him in some other old show recently. And he was, oh my gosh, you know what it was? Twilight Zone. And he played Death.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just watched that episode. It was Ed Wynn. And Ed Wynn was having a face-off with Death, and Death was the mayor from Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah.
I
was watching that, and I was going, boy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be a great person to play that same character if they ever made a homage or whatever recreation of that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he would. He would be really great.
Because he looks very similar. He has a very similar facial look. Facial characteristics.
Yes, he does. That would be fun. Speaking of restorations and weirdness, and I'll preface this by saying I feel really bad because I was the one who suggested it. You were trying to kit out a watch for Brody, and it didn't go according to plan.
Not at all.
Oh my
God, that thing, jeez.
I feel so bad for suggesting that, and
it's okay.
Because in my head it's an easy thing to do, and I've done it before, and it's kind of a piece of cake, and I feel bad that it went so awry for you.
Well, I went to Walmart and bought the watch, and except for the fact that all the lettering in there is silver.
It was silver,
chrome, it looked just fine. And then I got it home, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna Sharpie over the freaking the numbers, and then of course it just went everywhere. Like the stupid Sharpie ink decided to not just hit the letters, but the actual face of the watch too. So then I had to try and clean it, and it wouldn't come off. And I still have the watch here. I'm just going to use it for parts or something. I don't know what, but I got a replacement for it for Temu.
Now they
and it looks fine.
You can actually put whatever you want on that face, which is really interesting. Yeah. Do you mind if I show a picture of the dial and what happened to it?
Jacked up one? Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
See
it is just so murky, and
so
I decided, I'm just going to make a wash on it, and that didn't work either.
Yeah. Jeff and I have gotten really hung up on these watches because they're kind of the most expensive part of the costume. So Jeff's watch runs like $400 or $500.
At least.
And my watch,
if I bought the real one,
right, exactly. And my watch for Hooper runs $800 to $1,500 depending on where you see it.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely
at
nuts.
least again.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And so we're trying to find. Here's a good picture that kind of shows you how awry this went.
The disaster.
So Jeff tried to change the silver to black, and like got a little out of the lines there, and so
Well, it was like it wasn't just out of the lines. It was actually on the top, but I think it just kind of bled.
oh really?
So
Because
it's just slick. It just bled down
usually
and made a mess.
what I would do in this kind of situation is turn the pen sideways and lightly roll it over the silver so that just like the top part of it gets a black in it, and that should have been enough. But if it was sliding off the silver onto the white part, that's not good at all. So
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, now that
So
the whole
I-
face is trashed, you can actually replace it with whatever you want. If you want to do something really
Oh,
interesting,
yeah, totally.
we can print a sticker that is like the No Ghost logo and just stick
I
it on
know,
there,
that'd be
and you
cool.
can have a Ghostbusters watch.
So, man, I guess I'm not sure. I have to take off the hands and stuff somehow, without damaging it.
Not necessarily. There are ways
Okay.
around that, but
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely a bummer. I feel a little bad about that, and especially after
It's okay.
you figured out the part with the stem, getting the crown off the stem,
Oh yeah,
which is
yeah. They're pain in the butt, but I got it.
tricky.
Yeah.
So yeah, the watch that
Yeah.
I'm looking for is a dive watch, and I'm being kind of specific about
Mm-hmm.
this because Hooper's supposed to be a marine biologist, but the watch that Hooper has is very distinctive in that it's got a metal band with like holes cut in it, and then the actual watch itself is an old dive watch, like an early dive watch, and the
Yeah.
up to a point, like those were super cheap, those watches. And then somebody remembered that they were in Jaws. One company made a replica called the Hooper, which is also $800. And then for
Of
like
course.
the anniversary of Jaws, like the 40th anniversary or 30th anniversary, the actual company that's called Ulsta, who made the original watch,
Yeah.
made an exact replica of it. And they charge
Yeah.
like $850 to $1,500 depending. And even if
Good
I just
golly.
want that distinctive wristband that's on it, that wristband is $200 or $250 because it's a
Ugh.
1970s
Yeah, no,
era
thanks.
Speidel wrist thing. And it's like, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just want one that looks good in pictures from a distance. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm not spending that
Yeah.
kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don
oh,
says
jeez.
paint thinner will
Yeah,
take
the,
that stuff right off, but it'll take all the numbers off, and it'll eat
Yeah,
the
it'll
plastic.
make it completely blank. Yeah.
Yeah, Talon Thorne knows what's going on. Swatches. If you want a swatch from the
Yeah.
80s,
Yeah, I
oh my
remember
gosh,
those.
they're insanely expensive. And so all this watch stuff,
Yeah,
doing all
nowadays,
this
good luck.
this research with watches, there's companies that sell you additional parts so that you can customize your watch. And a lot of what should be cheap watches, where like, this was $25 to start, are now like
Yeah.
$2,500, and you can spend $5,000 on a watch, which is
Yeah.
crazy. And it's
Yeah.
just a watch. But I keep thinking back to Indiana Jones, where Belloc pulls out a pocket watch and he says, "This is $10 on the street, but bury it for 100 years and it's priceless." And that's what's happening
Yeah.
with watches. They're like, it's this whole
Yeah.
sub community. And so in the 1950s, people used to modify their cars, right? Build these hot rods and stuff. And then as time went
Yeah.
on, it changed to other stuff. Eventually, people stopped modding their cars and started modding their computers because that was easier to afford. They were modding their video game systems. We go through these phases of what get modded. Now it's watches. It's really kind of nuts. So
I know, dude. I mean, geez. I had a Swatch as a kid, but I mean, if I
but
still
who-
had that, it'd be worth
why
something. But,
why
you
would
know.
we keep it with the idea that it was going to be worth $2,000 when it was like
I know.
$20 when we were young?
I know. Yeah. But in any case, I have another watch coming in, so I don't need to really save this watch.
Good.
I'll do whatever. I'm gonna do whatever I can do it to make it niftier, but yeah, I don't need to do anything.
Now the sad thing is it's electric, and it runs off a battery, which means that you can't even just cut the face off and leave the thing behind it to look interesting, because it'll just be the dumb plastic thing that the mechanism is in.
Yeah, it is tiny. The actual device with the machine is tiny compared to the watch itself. So,
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, no good.
Alrighty. Any other event stuff we should cover before we move on to Star Wars?
Let's see. We had a few things with Poe in the house that were weird. I mean, we had an issue where
before you get going, though, for those of you who don't know, Poe is a Great Dane.
Yes.
So
this will give you an idea.
We're not talking about the Star Wars character.
Yes. Yeah. No. We have when I make the food, or Aubrey makes food or whatever, for the dogs, for the night, that we usually would set Winnie's food way back on the counter, so the dogs can get to it, kind of thing. And then, and we were having issues where like they coming in saying, well, did you feed her yet? Because the bowl's empty up there and whatever. I'm like, what? What do you mean we fed her? We got the food ready. We didn't feed her. And we're like, what's going on? And then like the other day we found the evidence of what was occurring. There were paw prints on the counter. Great big Great Dane paw prints. So he was somehow getting in there, and standing on his hind legs, of course, and just eating out of her bowl. And we're like, oh, look, it's empty. Yeah, because someone was eating it. So now her food goes on top of the fridge, and he has no way to get to it. But yeah, just ridiculous.
I love that you had to pick one of the highest points in the kitchen to put the food on because he's such a big dog.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Ahsoka, no problem. Even though she's a little velociraptor, no problem. We're too far for you. And apparently last night there was a possum in our yard.
Oh, wow.
And Poe brought it in and put it on his little bed and was like, haha, look what I got. And then Aubrey and them came, and at first they're like, it's dead. And then of course Sparrow was watching it, and it opened its eyes and closed them again. So right. Sparrow's like, yeah, no.
Well, because possums play dead. That's what they do.
Yeah. So like they had to usher Poe out of the room to upstairs here or whatever, and then like Poe, and then we have a scooper that we use outside for the dogs stuff, but in any case we used to kind of to get the possum up, or Aubrey did. I wasn't there, I was working, and then took the possum out front, popped out on the ground, went back inside, and then came back. The possum was gone, so possum's fine. Yeah, good old Poe,
That's pretty funny.
And then I hung a picture on the wall. It's like a home sweet home, but it's home haunted home instead. It's in our entryway. Yeah, that's the most of what I did, this week, other than just normal household junk, Yeah. But
excellent. All right.
Okay.
We're about 10 minutes to the top of the hour. How about we blast through some Star Wars news here?
Yep. Let's see here. Okay. I was looking at Kelly's comment. Yeah, man. My parents didn't want to get it for me. It was like a birthday present because it was too much money. In any case,
I'm trying to remember if I did own a Swatch or not. I feel like I did, or a knockoff maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a Swatch that was like a shade of blue. It was not quite turquoise or teal, but it was a little more blue than that, than it was green, and it just had like 12 on it. The only number on the watch was 12. So
well,
figure it out.
and Swatch was interesting because it was one of the first watches that started this accessorization craze where you could always get like different watch bands, but Swatch went nuts. And remember, you could buy the rubber bumpers that went over the watch so that you didn't bash the crystal and scratch it all up. And like, you could buy a color that complemented the watch, and like it went over the band and like did this whole thing. And nobody ever did that for watches before. It was just like, we were careful.
Yeah. Yeah. It got a little nuts there. A little crazy. Yeah. Let's see. We'll go back to Star Wars here. The first and only birthday we have on the list is February 11th, was when Pat Welsh was born, and the Star Wars credit for her was the voice of Bouche.
Eote.
Yeah.
But that's not her most famous voicemail role.
Yeah, exactly. 5 credits. That's all she has for acting. But yes, E.T.
Yeah, she's the voice of E.T., the extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
pretty cool. That's better than Bouche.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's the only thing.
If you're gonna have very small amount of credits, make one of them really awesome.
Yeah, exactly. 4th guy on the left, it's gonna.
Right, you don't want to be that guy, but if you're gonna be E.T. the extraterrestrial,
exactly. Okay. History. We have February 12th, 1978, is when Splinter the Mind's Eye was published by Del Rey.
And I gotta say,
and Alan Dean Foster.
So Alan Dean Foster was the ghostwriter of Star Wars on behalf of George Lucas. And part of his deal was that the next book was going to be his. He got to write the next book. That next book was Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things introduced into this, like Luke and Leia were not brother and sister yet. They were going after something called a Kyber crystal, which was a crystal that focused the Force and made you more powerful. The first time we'd ever heard about that. Luke used his lightsaber as a Swiss Army knife. He could control the length and the width of the blade, and used it to like pick a lock or something. All sorts of really interesting things were introduced into this. Leia used a lightsaber for the first time. And in fact, this art here that you're looking at right now, this was done by Ralph McQuarrie, who of course did the original designs for Darth Vader and such. Really very interesting book that's still a good read all these years later. And everybody thought, me included, that, and especially because the book came out for Star Wars before the movie came out, we thought this was going to be the next Star Wars movie. Star Wars Episode 2, the Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And then, of course, they renamed Star Wars to Episode 4, and then we started hearing something about The Empire Strikes Back, and we realized this was not going to be the next movie. But the reason it wasn't the next movie is because George made a lot of money on Star Wars. This was the fallback if it didn't make a lot of money. This was the cheap story to do. And The Empire Strikes Back was the expensive story to do. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. It's just, and Alan Dean Foster is a good writer. He's written a lot of terrific stuff. But I love this art so much. This was like, I wanted a poster of this so badly when I was a kid. It's just amazing. And we never got it. So, oh well.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen.
Well,
it's now legend. Just
right, exactly. It's like it didn't happen, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, how do I get it?
So we have February. Okay. So next one is February 13th, 1985, and I like these just because why that it happened. Was that Caravan of Courage was theatrically released in Venezuela instead of TV. It actually went to theaters.
You know, I'd have
Pretty
seen
cool.
this in a theater. Would you have gone to a theater to see it?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I think I would have.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I like the first one more than the second one, but the second one still has a lot of cool stuff in it. But yeah.
when did the Willow movie come out? 1988, right?
Willow. Yeah. It was pretty late in the 80s, yeah.
So like after Return of the Jedi, there wasn't a lot of Star Wars happening. They were
we
sort
had-
of running out the
no,
action
just these
figures.
two TVs.
Yeah, and I would have seen this in a theater, I think.
Yeah.
85
I think
February.
George just, yeah.
I was still in high school.
I
I'd
guess
have- I'd
George
have
fell
gone.
down. Yeah. George must have felt, meh.
Right.
Yeah. And then the last bit of the news, the history, is February 11th, 2011, when they, in the Union Square of San Francisco, they put a 5-foot wide heart with Yoda on it. It's part of like actually a charity fundraiser.
And apparently it came back too. Oh, did Lawrence Noble construct this? I'm trying to find a
It might have been.
picture of it.
Yeah.
And
All I have is like the one that's from them, you know.
yeah, what year was this?
So 2011, not 19.
2011. All right, so the chances are good that I found it.
Yeah.
But I can't tell. Gosh darn it. I hate when they do that. It's like a picture. It says it's a Yoda heart sculpture.
Yeah.
But it's not like a really. All right, this I think this is it. I think I found it. And if it's by Lawrence Noble,
Yeah.
he's the guy who did the Yoda.
I put the picture of it. Oh, okay. I put the picture of it in our messenger, our show messenger.
Oh, okay.
So the one from actual history. So if it's the same one, it's the same one.
Let me take a look. Where did the messenger go?
And that'll tell you.
Ugh, I hate this. All my
is
Facebook
goofy.
stuff closes on me all the time. And my computer's been really slow. I mean, it doesn't seem to be. Oh yeah, that's the right one that I'm looking for.
Yeah, okay. There it is. Okay.
And there's a big, and so it's like it's shaped like a heart, but it has Yoda, like on it. So, ugh.
Yeah.
I keep getting these like really teeny tiny pointless pictures of it. It's like nobody wants to post a big picture of it. It has now taken way too much time. Yeah, all the images, every image I find of it is like 200 pixels high. All right, here.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably just like show the one from the thing. So
Yeah, I was trying to find something slightly bigger than
See a
that.
picture of it that way.
There you go. This is it.
There you go. Yeah.
That was way too much trouble.
Yes.
Ugh.
Good
All right.
grief.
Anyway, Lawrence Noble is an amazing sculptor. He used to live down here. He used to come to our Rancho Cucamonga library events. And I never could talk him out of his
man.
Obi-Wan Kenobi sculpture that he did live at the event. He brought in clay and sculpted freaking Alec Guinness over the course of like a 5-hour event. It was absolutely amazing.
Man.
Yeah, such an amazing, talented guy. Jeff and I, on the way back from Oregon, stopped at I think they call it Inspiration Park, and we saw the Yoda statue and the Indiana Jones statue that he did, which was terrific. A supremely talented artist. Really honored to have met him. I love his work. So, and this was that heart is very much out of character for him. That's not the kind of stuff he usually does.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Hey,
but, yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Purple Lady had a birthday on February 9th. Happy birthday, belatedly.
Yay! Happy late birthday. Yep. And we're just about at the top. They're like
we are.
Close to it.
I'm actually.
Yep, there it is.
That's what I was checking. There we go. All right. So if you are listening to us, you are doing so on sci-fi.radio. Sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. We do nerd music 24/7. There's a lot of live programming, of which this is one. I'm their morning guy from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday, except for tomorrow where Gene Turnbow, the station founder, is going to fill in for me because I'm at Gallifrey doing costume repair. Go to sci-fi.radio. That's the URL. You can listen to the show there. You can listen to the station everywhere, basically, from there. And we have high-quality streams and stuff. And we also have, in the interest, I usually don't play commercials on this show, but for our purposes, we have a Patreon button up there, and I encourage you to go check that out because if any the reason we survive is because of you guys. We are jokingly NPR if the N stands for nerd. We know we've got a bunch of people all over the planet who listen in, and we're always grateful when you do. But for those of you who help support the station, you guys are the real heroes. The station's been going on for 17 years, and they'd like to keep going, but that really depends on you guys. You know, we've been here on the station for something like 9 or 10 years, and it's you know, we're glad to have an outlet on the radio. If you are watching us, you might be doing it on Facebook, either on my page or on the sci-fi.radio page. You could be watching us on Twitch or on YouTube. Although I've been fighting with Facebook lately because they'll take a show that's like a year and a half old and go, you have content in this that belongs to so-and-so. And what it'll turn out to be is a trailer. And they're like, oh, this company's going to add ads to your thing because you use their content. And I'm like, it's a trailer. Shouldn't that be public domain? So I'm trying to figure out how.
What the heck?
Whenever we talk about trailers on the show, we always do it without playing the sound because they always ding us. Yeah. And it's like, we are advertising for you. Stop messing around with us.
Exactly.
Sigh.
Good grief.
Hey, anyway, I am Sean Crosby, known as Obi-Shawn.
And this is Jeff Solo Donoho.
And Colleen, Kaylee Crosby's got the night off. We're doing Gallifrey tomorrow. She's taking it easy in prep for that. And Kit, Boba-Kit Sovine, is lurking around here somewhere. She does our control document for the show, so we have stuff to talk about. Oh my gosh, so much news this week. Like the past couple of weeks, it's been really quiet. And then bam! Everything went nuts.
Yeah, geez.
A lot of that are like Super Bowl commercials and things like that too, but a lot of Disney news, a lot of stuff. Just the fit hit the shan this week. It's very busy.
I know. Dadgummit.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's been kind of nuts.
Well, that's okay. You know, we make it work.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Where were we? We did all the Star Wars history, except there's a new VP of development over at Lucasfilm. That would be Derek Hoffman.
Yeah.
who has been working in film and video games and comic books for 24 years.
Yeah.
He got to start with not the Donner Party, the Donner Company. It's an important distinction. Working for director Richard Donner. No cannibalism involved.
Not that we know of, you know.
Yeah, and then he worked on X-Men franchise, including being an associate producer on X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And then he worked on a bunch of television and stuff. And now, dun dun dun, he is at Lucasfilm as a vice president of development.
Exactly.
So,
pretty cool.
yes.
You know? I mean,
That's good. Well, you know, we like talented people in positions to use that talent to make entertainment for us.
exactly.
I'm not sure how I feel about this next one. So, Disney Imagineering put together Galaxy's Edge for Florida and for Anaheim.
Yeah.
And Galaxy's Edge is Star Wars themed, very much set in a very specific timeline, which is between episodes 8 and episode 9. They take some liberties with it, like technically like Kylo Ren's helmet should be smashed up. And there's some things like that they don't do. But for the most part, it's very firmly in there. And then they made a little bit of a shift where over at the marketplace, so that it's in 3 separate sections. There's the First Order base, there's Oga's Cantina, and Smuggler's Run, that area, and then there's the marketplace. And so over in the marketplace, they have put other characters that don't quite fit in Galaxy's Edge. So we've seen Fennec Shand, we've seen Boba Fett, we have seen the Mandalorian and Grogu, things like that. They have their own character, Vi Moradi, who very frequently they sort of give the middle finger because, like, she was supposed to be in Rise of the Resistance as your contact. They replaced her with Rey. She's got her own stories. There's a couple of books and things, and I love talking to her in the park. She's so much fun to talk to because the actresses just know it forward and backwards. But, you know, people would rather see Ahsoka because they haven't built up Vi Moradi very well. And so, you know, when Ahsoka shows up in the marketplace, it's all about Ahsoka. Even though Vi will play with the kids a lot more than, you know, they will help protect Chewbacca and things like that. And she's very interactive. So now the idea is that, and Disney is hinting at that they are bringing Luke Skywalker to Galaxy's Edge. There's a little video that the Disney Parks Instagram thing has put out that shows Luke by the Millennium Falcon, and it's interesting to see that. And I assume that he's
the backside
Mandalorian, the backside of Luke. I assume he's the Mandalorian era Luke. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
That's my assumption.
Yeah. So he's specifically coming back for Season of the Force, which is the upcoming Star Wars celebration time, which is going to happen from, like, I think it's mid-March to
May.
Yeah. So anyway, that's you know, we'll see. I'm not like going, oh my God, Luke's gonna be there. So, I like Luke Skywalker. I used to dress as that Luke Skywalker. Now I dress as old Luke Skywalker. I like Luke Skywalker. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like.
So we just have to wait for, like, you know, Han and Leia to show up in, you know, as characters in the Mandalorian movie or something, and then they'll have them walking around too. Yeah.
It's Mystery Galaxy Man says he doesn't have his lightsaber. Yeah, he doesn't have his hand either.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. we'll have to see. And of course, the entire season of the Force is coming out, and they have a new projection show that they're going to do on the spires, I guess, to sort of in conjunction with or to replace the fireworks, one of the two. That debuts on March 28th and is called Shadows of Memory.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that could be cool. Very frequently, they don't know what to do with that area, and so doing projections on the spires should be really cool. It's music comprised of familiar themes heard throughout the films and the legendary story of the Skywalkers. So that should be fun. Let's see.
How's that going to work out?
It might be Luke Skywalker showing up. That's very vague. Fire of the Rising Moons is the backside of the fireworks that you see from the castle, basically, with Star Wars music.
Yeah.
What else? Season of the Force
That's
ride
kinda,
overlays. Up they're gonna do Hyperspace Mountain up through Colleen's birthday on May 11th. That's going to be in Tomorrowland, and Star Tours is supposed to get something new. I think. Not entirely sure.
Most likely. I mean, they've already done everyone else. So maybe they'll throw Andor in there again or something. But who knows?
Well, and they also keep saying that they are going to do a new Smuggler's Run film that's Mandalorian based.
Yeah.
So, and they have some.
I mean, it would make sense. Because they're edging that way.
Yeah, they have some new merch, like a Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett baseball jersey. Couple of very 1980s style shirts. Some weird headbands with character helmets on them. Or you can get Vader in a Stormtrooper. You can get Yoda, R2, and an Ewok. And they actually look like they're loose on there, so you can kind of like swap them around.
Totally wicked.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally wicked.
Yeah, looks like it.
And then there's some kind of like Vader popcorn bucket, I think, where you can like pull off the top of his head and eat his zombie brains.
I know. Yeah.
And then there's
gonna have popcorn lobotomy.
There's also like a repaired droid or something that's there too, which should be weird.
Yeah, it's like strapping tape around him.
Yeah, he's got like duct tape or something, and I'm looking to see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so it's create your own headbands. So you get the headband and you choose the guys that you want to be on it. I'm sure they charge you per guy.
See, there you go.
Her Universe did the clothing that they're going to be selling. So that's Ashley Eckstein. And
cool.
I'm looking. So there's a Hyperspace Mountain T-shirt. New lightsabers over at Savi's workshop, and a new storyline. So if you've done the lightsaber experience before, they're going to change up that whole presentation so that it will be a different presentation as well as a different lightsaber. And then it doesn't say what that droid was. I think it's just beat up parts you can use over at Droid Depot, which now no longer requires reservation, which we talked about last week, I think. Yeah. So, and there's a bunch of food coming. So I don't know. I mean, the Season of the Force is always kind of fun. I think the thing that we saw was the Droid Parts Premium Vessel, which includes buttered popcorn with crate red salt, and so that was sort of the beat up droid. And then the Darth Vader thing is not a popcorn bucket; it is a mug.
Yeah.
Which comes with a fountain vessel, a fountain beverage, which is weird. So anyway, there'll be new stuff.
So you can drink his brains instead. Chilled Vader brains.
Tastes like evil. All right. Disneyland is offering hero tickets to LA's first responders who are working to the fire. I am completely behind that. I think they should totally do that. One of the things that I find to be particularly fascinating is that Disney themselves appear to be questioning how expensive they've become. There's no secret that Disney loves reporting big financial wins to their shareholders. But how much can you gouge your guests before your guests start to push back? And that's actually what's happening. And it's been happening for a while. I know a lot of people, and you probably do too, Jeff, who have not renewed their Disney passes because it's too expensive. If the high-end pass is $1,750, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's like a used car.
Yeah.
Not a great used car,
much,
but it's a used car. Don, as part of our Muppet project, just spent that much money and bought a 1950 Studebaker, 51 Studebaker. So, it is a used car.
Yeah.
And so people have been saying that Disneyland has been priced out of an average middle-class family's visit, because if you've got to pay $200 a ticket and you've got 5 people in the family, boom, that's $1,000. You can spend another $400 on Lightning Lane stuff. Food is expensive. Special trinkets are expensive. It just adds up, and you can see people walking out of there having spent $3,000 in a day.
No, I know. It's like cheaper to go to Florida.
Well,
but
but they're pushing back at Florida too, because Florida feels like they're not getting enough cool stuff, and people are not renewing over in Florida also. So there was a Harris poll who did a study that found about 3/4 of the people who replied to the study believe that Disneyland is now financially out of reach for families. So 75% of the people they asked said, we can't afford to go to Disneyland. I mean, that's telling, right? That's crazy.
Exactly.
So, if you're a Disney fan, you might be thinking you're getting your money's worth. But they're doing so much to torpedo Magic Key holders, even though they're still selling them. People are bailing out, and do people feel like they're getting their money's worth? A lot of people I know who have Magic Keys don't even go on a lot of rides. They go to Disneyland and they hang out, and they enjoy the people and the atmosphere, and which was what Walt really had in mind when he developed the park. But I'm pretty sure he didn't intend it to get quite that expensive. But Disney's a giant corporation.
Mystery Galaxy Man, which we know him. Most families are going to Knott's. Well, I mean, when they went during COVID, Knott's was like the first of the parks that decided to have like food fairs and stuff and invite people back in.
Right.
They were really the first place that opened back up too at one point, but they were still following all the protocols, and I were like, and it up until last year, or up till the prices were really good at Knott's too, but Knott's has their prices are going up too, but it's not like Disney at all. You can still get a pass there that's pretty cheap compared to like the least expensive pass at Disney, but but the
and I feel bad because we went to Knott's with you guys, and then we paid the extra to get the annual pass for Knott's, and then we never found a time to go back, and I feel really bummed about that.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a horrible expense, but And we also we went on a day that was like supposed to be really cool, and then it turned out to be not really cool. Not temperature wise, but like event wise. But
event wise.
I'm trying to find the here's the season. So a platinum annual pass for Universal Studios is less than 1/3 of the highest end comparable Disney pass. It's $549 to get a platinum annual pass for this, and it's just like, what the heck? And it's not like Universal Studios not building new stuff. They just built Nintendo World. They're still putting stuff in, but and that is free parking, and it's a full year, no blockout dates at all, and I think it's good at other Universal parks. So,
most likely.
Anyway, and you know, discounts at Halloween Horror Nights, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you get a lot for your $600.
Yeah. Knott's biggest one is $399, $400. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
and you get like,
it's making Disney
you
look
get to go to all the Cedar Fair parks, and you get free parking and blah blah blah. Plus you can get the meal plan at Knott's. I don't know if you get that at Universal, but you get it at Knott's.
I don't know if they have a meal plan. I don't see.
Yeah, Knott's, you can get the meal plan, so you pay like whatever it is for Knott's. It's like $35 or $70. It's something up there. Maybe the drink's $35 and the food plan's like $70 or something. In any case, it lasts a whole year, so you can go in there and eat your meal, and 4 hours later you could eat another one if you're hungry. You also have a drink. So if you go and get your drink, and I think it's like a 15 minutes you have to wait, and you get a refill. You get another drink.
Wow.
So that's Knott's. Plus free parking if you have the highest one. And like I said, you can go to all the Cedar Fair parks, which they do have quite a few.
Yeah.
So
the low end Universal Pass
still cheaper
is $200, and that's 275 days that you can get in the park. So it sounds like they block out the weekends.
Yeah. Knott's is Knott's, I don't know about that. All 3 passes you can go all year long. All year long, there's no blockouts. But you don't get the parking. It says, well, maybe not. It says unlimited visits to Knott's, but then it has an X through unlimited visits to Knott's. So, like, how can you have?
How can it be both?
Unlimited visits and not have them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don is saying over on the chat that you feel obligated to use the magic key, which is true. I've talked on this show before about how I feel. I'm feeling the privilege of having a high-end Disney pass now, where I didn't used to, because a lot of my friends were going to, and everybody made their choices. Yeah. But now, like, I feel bad if I go. I feel bad if I don't go. It's like it's just crappy.
Yeah. Like, I've brought it up before, where the other reason I really like Knott's is because it reminds me of a park what I used to go to as a kid in Northern California. It's gone. It was in San Jose, California, and it was called Frontierland. Or sorry, Frontier Village, not Frontierland. That's Disneyland. Frontier Village. And it had like a roller coaster or two, and some other rides and a train and stuff. And the opening building was amazing, but it was primarily like an Old West theme park. And then they also had Hanna-Barbera characters wandering around. So like they had Hanna-Barbera characters there. So it was fun. And then, like, stuff happens, Yeah. They wanted to expand, and then people living there said no, so they just didn't expand, and they closed the park in the 80s.
Right.
You know,
That's how
But,
I feel
it
every
was
time
amazing.
Facebook tries to ding us on the
Yeah.
show. They're like, "Oh, we're going to do the thing for your episode." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just take it down."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
So it's like, you guys suck. But yeah,
Knott's Berry Farm, when I
Yeah,
was a
it
kid, was a big
yeah.
deal, and it was so different from Disneyland that it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. They and at one point, people that used to be Imagineers at Disneyland went over and worked at Knott's, started doing stuff for Knott's.
Yeah, yeah,
So there actually is stuff there made by Imagineers too.
yeah.
So
They're rinky-dink by comparison, though. I mean, like, Disney Imagineers
nowadays.
worked on the Berry Tales, and it's like, yeah, but the Berry Tales are a little tacky. In comparison.
I liked Fairy Tales when it was there, but now it's gone now, and now it's just you're watching a screen. You drive around, roll around, and shoot at stuff on a screen.
Oh, that's too bad.
So that's what it is now. It's a real shame. They took it out ways back, and they moved it to this little clubhousey thing in Camp Snoopy. But it wasn't the ride. They just had some stuff from the ride there that you could walk around and see. And they put in in place of where it was, they put in that the dinosaur ride. I don't remember what it's called, but you'd get in this little you get in the same little car, and you go through and like whoever it was, some scientist. I don't remember who it was supposed to be. You went through this portal in your car, in your vehicle, and you went back in time.
Yeah, it was a time travel
ride
thing.
is all out, huh?
It was a time travel ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was called
Yeah. And
Kingdom of the Dinosaurs.
Yes. And eventually, the scientist would be, I got to get you back to through time, and through the entire ride, and you'll hear this little voice, in the speakers. Yes, Don. Yes, that's where it was. But that one came, and that one left as well. And then they brought in a shooting thing, which is, I guess, similar but not. I don't know. I never went on it, but it was like a steampunky underwater sub shooting game. Or
Yeah.
something, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah.
It was that was really weird. Oh, what did they call
And now they
it?
brought the Berry Tales back in, and it's just it's the same kind of thing. You're in this pretty much the same cars, I think, too, but you have little things to shoot berries or whatever it is at the coyotes and stuff and whatever. So you're shooting at cartoons.
It took them 10 years to bring in a new ride, which was called Voyage to the Iron Reef.
Yeah.
And so the ride was dark for 10 years. They didn't do anything with that space. And the Kingdom of the Dinosaurs has been gone for 20 years, like 21 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It closed in 2004. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we go back to this kind of stuff, let me just jump in here with some of our rest in peace people that we lost this week. I'll do them pretty quick. Bay Area television news anchor Dennis Richmond has passed away at the age of 81 up in San Francisco. Spent his entire 40-year career with KTVU and was one of the country's first black anchormen in a major news market. It was a pretty big deal. He retired from the station in 2008 and has been retired ever since. So he got to enjoy some quality time there. Tony Roberts passed away. Do not, like Colleen, confuse him with the
Robbins?
motivational speaker. Right. He was in Annie Hall, did a lot of stuff on Broadway, and did a lot of Woody Allen stuff. Play It Again, Sam, Stardust Memories, Hannah and Her Sisters, Radio Days, things like that. And then Play It Again, Sam on Broadway before doing the film. And when he was in the TV version of Dirty Dancing and stuff, and Law and Order, and all sorts of other stuff. So sad to hear of his passing. We lost a gorilla, sadly, in San Francisco Zoo. Oscar the gorilla unexpectedly passed away at the age of 43. And he just has been there forever. And was the third oldest male living in a U.S. zoo. And he's a lowland gorilla, which, of course, is an endangered species. And they're trying to keep them going in zoos and things.
Yeah.
Total bummer there. And he had a procedure that he went through. He was recovering from anesthesia, and then stopped responding to that, which is really kind of a bummer. And like anybody, you take a risk when you go into the hospital. At the age of 61, we lost. Hey, stop that. We lost Peter Navy Tuisasopo. He was in Unnecessary Roughness. He was in Street Fighter. Very big man who passed away at the age of 61. He was in The Fast and the Furious, all sorts of other stuff. His son announced his passing, apparently of heart complications in Phoenix, Arizona. And so he was, he did, a lot of active roles in film. It was really cool. And then Bruce French, at the age of 79, passed away. He was another theater actor, and he did Days of Our Lives, this the soap opera, and Passions. He was in Passions like even longer, and and a lot of stage stuff. He was in A Christmas Carol, and did L.A. Law, Ally McBeal, Boston Legal, Mad Men, Gilmore Girls, The West Wing, Moonlighting, Cheers, Matlock. Gosh, so much stuff. So and then he did a bunch of sci-fi stuff. Enterprise, Voyager, Next Generation, Star Trek Insurrection in the movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jurassic Park 3 even. I mean, lots of stuff. He did a lot of nerd stuff. So.
Yeah.
But very sad, and by all accounts, a super kind man, and very cool. Passed away at the age of 79. Okay, back to it. Let's see here.
Where we were at.
Well, we were talking about
Disney charging too much is where we were, yes.
Yeah, it was new experiences coming to Main Street at Disney.
Yeah. And besides Walt.
Right. They're not going to put another Walt statue in there, are they? Because
no, he's going to be animatronic.
Yeah, at which the family doesn't like. The family is so mad at this.
Yeah.
They're basically going to make Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln a swappable experience, where for half the year they'll run it as Lincoln, and for half the year they'll run it as Walt. And the family's like, we have so much Walt on video. Why are you making him a robot? They're getting really mad.
Yeah.
So, but, Disney's gonna do what Disney's gonna do.
Yeah.
But they're
doesn't make any sense.
On the plus side of things, they are working with the Disney Family Museum, and they're going to get a whole bunch of artifacts to bring down and put in the lobby of stuff. So if you can't make it to the Walt Disney Family Museum, which is up in San Francisco, but you can make it at Disneyland, they'll have 30 different artifacts on display that covers things like furnishings from Walt's apartment over the fire station, which have largely been replaced with newer stuff if you go up there. And they've never been seen by the public at Disneyland before. And then a bunch of his awards and things. And so if you want to check out Walt Disney's Emmy Award from 1955 from the Disneyland show, or his Presidential Medal of Freedom, all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, that could be pretty fun. We'll see. We'll see what the show is like. Oh, and there's a picture. Here, hang on a second. I will show you what they're planning for this. And sort of the
the concept art thing.
Yeah, the simplicity of the funny thing about their concept art to me is that it kind of looks like MST3K because there's like little audience heads down at the bottom. So anyway, I mean,
that's going to be amazing.
I'm sure it'll be fine. And there is so much Walt Disney on tape that I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to, get his voice right and all of that kind of thing. And, this here is sort of a fudged recreation of Walt's office at the Walt Disney Studios, and so that's kind of interesting to see. But you can see that it's on a revolve.
A little turntable.
Yeah, and so I mean, to swap out Lincoln, all they got to do is like run this. So they could do Walt half the day and Lincoln half the day, or I'm sure there's
let's turn it around.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
That could be interesting. So I don't know. I'll wait to see it before I say it sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's only fair.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I agree with the Disney family that they should not do this. I mean, Walt's such a huge figure, but that said, he is such a huge figure. Like Abraham Lincoln is not from our lifetime. We didn't experience him at all.
No.
We all grew up watching Walt. We've seen so much Walt Disney that if they don't nail this, it's going to be creepy as heck. So,
yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Like I said.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that could be terrific or not so much. Canis Latransapiens says Robot Chicken did a Robot Walt. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a little different. Yeah,
with a link to the video, which I am totally saving for later.
Yeah.
Doesn't he go nuts and start eating children or something?
Alien kid.
That's pretty funny. We'll see what happens. What else have we got here? Yeah. The Castle Service Awards are coming to Disneyland. They're going to do the 15-year honors at Shanghai Disney Resort and Hong Kong Disneyland. It's a new award that features their specific castles on them, which are really neat. So if you've put in time, you've done 15 years, you'll get this this great award. And Disney has a long history of giving awards to all of their long service cast members. I'll give you a quick peek at those because they do have them for basically every hello, there we go. They do basically have them for every park. And it's nice to have your own castle represented at the park that you're working at, because they're all different. They're all really neat. As much as I love Disneyland's castle, it was the first, and therefore every other castle after it has improved on it and done something different. It's been bigger. It's been more elaborate, which makes Disneyland's castle very quaint. I love seeing people who come in from other countries and they're like, it's so little.
Yeah.
And they're not wrong. I had a lovely talk with a woman from Tokyo who came in. She was wearing a skirt, a plaid skirt. I was wearing a kilt, and we were joking that we shop at the same place. And she gave me her impressions on Disneyland. I gave her mine on Tokyo, and her whole concept was that like Disneyland is kawaii. It's cute. It's tiny. It's little. It's like chibi Disney.
Oh.
Because Disneyland Tokyo is huge. It's monstrously huge. And so she's like, it's so little. It was kind of awesome. Anyway, yeah, I know somebody who's up for I don't know how long she's been working there, but I know someone who's up for a service award very soon. I think she's getting the Tinkerbell one. And I should see. I'm looking to see if it will tell me. The internet will clue me in as to what year that is. Oh my gosh, that's a 25-year service award. I think. Yeah, I'll have to look and see if that's like really what she's getting. Because 25 years is kind of nuts. We have a friend who's worked at Disney for 45 years, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm mildly jealous of that. Not Disney.
Disneyland? Yeah.
Yeah, Disneyland. Not Disney, but Jurassic World is getting an attraction in Bangkok. Oriental setting.
Yes.
But the city don't know what the city is getting.
Yeah.
They spent $3.7 million on it, and it could be really fun. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. It's just it's just sort of like it's sort of by itself. I mean, it's not. There's stuff by it, but it's not like a theme park. It's just like this big ride they're sticking there.
Right. Well, and it's called the Experience, and so it's like an immersive thing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a walk through, walk around kind of thing. I'm not even sure it has a ride in it. The article doesn't say that it has a ride.
Oh, yeah.
So
it is a ride.
Is it?
That's what I thought. It was like it's like a water ride, I think. What did they say it was? I can't remember where I was reading about.
Standalone immersive attraction. 4,000 square meters.
Excuse me.
It's by the riverfront. It says it will feature animatronic dinosaurs as well as iconic settings. It says elsewhere.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe not.
Elsewhere in South Asia, there's a Jurassic Park ride that's in Singapore. But this is going to be different. So I don't think it's a ride. I think it's just an experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I thought it was saying that. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Speed round time. What you
go.
got, Jeff?
Speed round. Oh my goodness. Let me go look at here real quick. Golly, where was that at? Oh, yeah, one I wanted to talk about a little bit briefly. This is on the Hollywood Reporter did this, but covered it. But it was Disney, and it's political here a little bit, so I hate to say it, but I put this in because it's Disney, and I'm not real thrilled with it because I work for Disney. I'm disappointed with them. This is the case, and they haven't said anything since they've done it.
Okay.
But due to the current individual in charge of the country now,
you mean President Musk?
Yeah. Doing things like getting rid of the DEI, a lot of the DEI and such that's been going through the federal part of the government and such. So a few companies have decided to get rid of theirs too, and Disney rolled back some of their DEI as well. And it's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in here because I feel every time we talk about DEI, it's really easy to just use that as an easy dismissal. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so when a
Yes.
company gets rid of those things, they are getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion for their employees. It's one thing to say, oh, they got rid of this DEI stuff. They're getting rid of these things that are basic human, rights, really.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody's doing it with the new administration. All these businesses got permission to throw this out the window. But you're right, Jeff. It is not cool. It is not cool at all. And
No.
Disney,
No.
as a company, has always kind of prided itself in this stuff. Back in 2016, they had formed a diversity division that was to make sure that people who were working for the company, who were black or were gay or whatever, felt like they were part of the company. They didn't feel excluded. They felt included into it. They had Colleen and I go to San Francisco and be in their Pride Parade entry, which was really great. They did a lot of, and that Pride Parade entry covered every Disney company. So it was ABC, it was ESPN, it was Lucasfilm, it was all of these companies in under the Disney umbrella. And that was such an optimistic thing to me as someone who's a fan of what Disney does. And if they get rid of that, I'm going to be pissed. I mean, honestly, I'm just going to be pissed.
Yeah.
It's not
just
cool.
It's terrible. Yeah. It was, and people are saying, certain people in the company and not wanting to be, I guess, named. It's like JPEG on steroids. And they like when they win it, it's like when we have Bob Iger in charge, and like when Bob was in charge before, and then he left. But while he was in charge, there was a whole deal against DeSantis in Florida, and he's like, "We're not backing down," because he was like, "This is wrong." And then he's in charge again, but it's okay just to roll this back.
Right? Why isn't he putting his foot down here? Why isn't he going to bat for people? And it's one of those things where, so liking Disney in my mind is like liking a sports team, right? And so, and the NFL is having this problem too, where they just got rid of at the end zones. They used to have a thing that said "end racism," and they took that out because they now have blanket permission to. So what are they going to do? Not have black football players anymore? Or are they going to start treating them badly? I mean, what's going to happen with that? And so, wanting Disney to be good, I don't think is wrong. You want them to be a responsible company. And if they completely, blow this off, it's people are already questioning why they're spending money at Disney. To do something like this makes them question it more. And I think from a shareholder position, it's just going to make people mad because a lot of people who buy into Disney and buy stock in Disney, sure, they want to make money, but a lot of them are like, I'm investing in a socially responsible company. And if they don't want to act that way,
exactly. So I hope that something happens and that this changes, but
Frequent Falcon Flyer is bailing out. Bye. See you later.
See ya.
You're right, Jeff. It really blows.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that just sort of erodes your faith in a company. And they were doing so well there for 10 years, where they were really making an effort, and you could tell. You could tell at the parks where I watched a guy at the park completely transition over the course of 6 months, and they were behind him. The costume people got him into whatever clothing he wanted to wear, and when he was on stage at work, it wasn't a problem. And as long as people weren't having a problem with him in the shops, he was a shop guy. it was fine. And so, yay. And I saw somebody go the other way, transition to female. That
Yeah.
was not a problem. And I know a lot of people who are gay who work for Disney because they love the family atmosphere. I don't want to see them
Exactly.
get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a
Me neither.
drag. Yeah, the Lady A is right. They're afraid to defy the Cheeto.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. First Lady
Sadly.
Donald
Yeah.
to President Musk. Ugh. Man. Lame, I tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Very sad.
All right, let's see. I'm going to mention one of the things that we teased in our Facebook blast. If you are a cosplayer, this is a bad alert for you. JoAnn
Oh,
Fabric, which is a nationwide chain of stores, who partnered with people like Yaya Han and stuff to make sure they carried a lot of cosplay fabrics and things. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection for the second time. They do crafts, they do sewing, they do, you name it, they do it. And they're shutting down 530 stores that they consider to be underperforming in more than 40 states. When they first filed for bankruptcy protection in January, they said they were going to keep all their stores open. So this is rolling that back. So if they have 800 stores and they're killing 500 of those, that's a bummer. You can go to JoAnn. I think I get a list of them. We have a list that that Kit is putting over in the chat, and pick your state and go. And I'll tell you, California is getting hit hard. We've got at least 40 stores, maybe 50, that are
the one by me is closing,
being shut down. Me too. Although, to be fair, the two stores nearest me, one of them I think already closed, which was in Santa Monica. The one in Torrance is going away, and it was like a pretty big store, and nobody can, nobody's going to have anything in that area now.
At least one good thing is that at least LA still has the fabric district or whatever, so they still have that. That's good.
They do. It's just that JoAnn's is more convenient if you need to run out and get a zipper, as opposed to going all the way downtown. And also, JoAnn's would stay open till like 9 or 10 at night, whereas the garment district closes at 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky. So, but we're super lucky to live in a port city here in LA. Very, very lucky for us, and I feel terrible for people who live in like Connecticut. Florida's losing a bunch of stores.
Yeah, it's harder to get ships there.
Illinois losing maybe as many as California.
Yeah, these landlocked states have a heck of a time getting those boats in.
Right. It's just you gotta put them on a truck, and roll them out. It's It's like
nearby me, because I'm in Orange, I'm right next to Anaheim. There's a fabric store that still is open, but I haven't been there in a while. But they're still there. M&L
is great.
M&L is still in Anaheim.
But you have to be careful with that too, because we had near us in Culver City, near Fox Studios, we had F&S Fabrics, and they closed down their fabric portion, and they just have their home fabrics open. So if you need upholstery, fabric, or foam, you can still go there. And I think they cater a lot to the film industry, which is why they got to stay open. But the other one was like the fabric store everybody would kind of go to. So we used to see a lot of celebrities over there doing stuff, because they would go there for fabrics, to do crafts, to help their kids at school. With that closed down, it was really, really a bummer. Even though they weren't super convenient to us, but they were probably about as far away as our JoAnn's was. Last time I was in JoAnn's, We had a technology chain called Fry's Electronics that shut down. And at the end of Fry's Electronics, they had empty aisles. They had almost nothing to sell. It was really looking kind of weird. And JoAnn's last time I was in was starting to look like that. Their zipper selection was really basic, big holes in it. It looked like they hadn't restocked it in a couple of months. Their button selection, all the sewing basics, right, were just not there. Thread.
Yeah.
They didn't have a ton of thread.
Damn.
And it's like, how do you stay in business if you don't have that stuff to sell?
Oh, I know.
But they had Funko Pops, It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
It was really kind of crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know where Mystery Man Galaxy is, but it might be on the list.
OC, but yeah.
Yeah. The ones that I saw in the OC, where did they go? I must have closed
I don't know, but
the thing.
The one for Orange is closing, so I know that.
Yeah, it's
Glendale.
It's just really kind of a bummer because we and I'll be the first to tell you that JoAnn's was not exactly the best company to work for. I know a lot of people who did work for them, and they just got really bummed out. Like my mom used to work for them, and they wouldn't give her enough hours. They treated her badly. She's very talented as a seamstress, and they wouldn't allow her to help customers. Just awful.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
And on a side related note, Dollar Tree may buy a bunch of the old Party City locations that closed up.
Yeah.
Coming soon to you also, probably.
The one by us is closing soon.
Spirit Halloween stores are coming.
Yeah.
The Party City is closing near you? Or the Dollar Tree?
Yeah. The Party City.
Oh, I thought they all closed.
That's close by to us. It's still open. It's across from the Main Place Mall. I think it's still open. They just been having the clearance signs up still, but I don't know. I'm sure everything should be even cheaper now because, boy.
Lame. Really sad. It makes me really sad.
Because last time I was there, but the last time I was in there, like, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, either they went around and bumped up the price tags or something because they're like, it's this much off. And you get there and you're like, how is that a good deal?
Right.
Why is this much money?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was like, what are you guys doing? Like, I think it's more along the lines, we just change the prices and,
Right.
Stickers are cheaper than,
Do you have one more before we wrap things up?
Oh, do I have one more?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me look here. There was one actually. And it is, what I found was interesting, and this is so that people know, I thought this was kind of, it's I don't know if they expected this to come out, but Joseph Quinn, who is in Stranger Things, is going to be playing Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four, and he was he was talking to someone at MegaCon. I guess he was at MegaCon and he was talking, and he was, like who he thinks should, I guess who he wanted to play Wolverine. He's like, oh well, who I like to play Wolverine, and he wants he thinks Charlie Heaton, who's gosh darn it, I keep messing these characters' names up, but it was sorry. He was the brother of the kid that got taken away in the first season into the Upside Down. So he's the brother.
He was Jonathan Byers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's his brother. And he thinks that he should play Wolverine. I mean, I guess I looked it up. He's like 5'8". I guess that's okay. I don't know.
It's not too bad, but he's kind of a stocky dude. And
Yeah,
he'd have to get...
but that's not the news.
What's the news?
The news was that he said he wants them to be for the X-Men reboot that Feige announced in November, but then he said but that's following the conclusion of Avengers Secret Wars. It'll be the Age of Mutants. We'll start in Marvel.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, and it says, I think it's saying that I don't know how it's being worded here, like that Kevin Feige said it or he said it. It just says he disclosed, and I'm not sure it's meaning Feige disclosed it.
No, I'm
yeah.
gonna err on the side of the actor disclosed it.
Yeah, but yeah, Age of Mutants will start. Will start after that. So, and I don't know when that was disclosed. Maybe someone here was going to go, no, he said that. But in any case, that's the thing. And, otherwise, I think it's cool. I do like the idea of Charlie Heaton would probably make a pretty good Wolverine.
I think he'd be all right. He'd have to bulk up.
I don't know if that's in the cards, but yeah.
Well, this other thing was weird, too. They say that Sadie Sink, who's the redhead in Stranger Things, was being eyed to play Jean Grey. And she doesn't really seem like the type they would cast for Jean Grey, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, they tend to grab some characters. I mean, like, it's weird that they like Pedro Pascal. They grabbed him, and I was like, oh wow, Pedro Pascal. What do you know? But like, and then like I guess Pedro Pascal was in the second Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
And then someone else from that was also working with him and like is now in Marvel, and I don't remember who the heck it was, but it's like, what? And like, so they're grabbing people for certain things that match with certain things, and they're bringing them over to.
Well, Joseph.
So it's like, here's some beer, grab him from here. Wasn't
Joseph Quinn in Gladiator?
Gladiator 2?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean that might be our connection.
Yeah. And they're grabbing certain people from things like Game of Thrones actors that were Game of Thrones actors, and they're coming in, and they're so it's like, it's interesting to see all that.
Right. Alrighty.
I guess we're 9 o'clock now.
Let's we'll say goodbye to everybody over there. Lori's saying goodbye, and people are checking out. That's fair. But hey, if you have been hanging out with us for the past 2 hours, we're very grateful. You could have been doing it over on sci-fi.radio, sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. That station's there 24/7. Go check it out. That's a URL, sci-fi.radio. Put it right in. You can listen on Alexa. You can listen on your web browser, your phone, whatever you want to do. We've got all sorts of ways to listen. And there's a menu bar up there to do it. I will usually be on the air at 9 a.m. in the morning Pacific time. Not tomorrow. Gene Turnbow is going to be taking my shift. I will be at Gallifrey 1 doing the costume repair station with Colleen. That's why Colleen's off tonight. Mm-hmm. So we will fill you all in on how that went next Thursday. Thanks to Kit again for keeping us on the straight and narrow with our show document. Thanks to you if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. We appreciate you wanting to see our unkempt faces. And hey, let's do this all again next week, shall we?
Yeah. I'm Jess Donoho.
I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby. As always, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Here's little credits for you video folks. See ya all later.